the Leroy Slava podcast. Conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Now, if you enjoy these podcasts, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to receive updates of future podcasts. Good morning, Mr. JABU ZWANE. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Leroy, man. I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. So we're on
Excellent.
episode 46 now, Jabu.
I'm on episode 26.
You're on episode 46.
56. Oh, wow. You've been doing some work, man. Wow.
46. Started in lockdown. Yeah, man, and it's been going well. The viewership is growing, and I think I enjoy it more than anything else. Eh?
Oh yeah.
I think more than
That's
the people listening, I enjoy it more because we chat to new people every week, interesting people like yourself, and share their stories, share their journeys, share opportunities as well. Eh?
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Oh, thanks a lot for having me on your show, on the podcast, and yeah, hopefully it'll be interesting, as you say.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I said before this, I heard an interesting story about you this weekend, and I met you a couple of weeks ago. And after that, I started seeing you everywhere. Eh? Before that, I didn't see you at all. And then I met you, and then I started seeing you everywhere. I started seeing you on LinkedIn. I started seeing you with Witness and Londoabo. I was like, okay, we all know the same people. And yeah, man. So you've been busy, eh?
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing about it is that the circle is small because so few of us dare take on life and then dare take on the journey of our dreams. And so at that frequency, or if you want to talk about, to use that terminology, there are few of us, especially the few of us who look like us, you know.
That's interesting.
So,
It's saying that at that frequency, there's few people that go after their dreams.
yeah, that is the sad reality, Leroy. The fact is that so few people go after their dreams, and when they do, man, so few of us actually do our best doing that. I think it's one of those mindsets that I've realized from a very young age. I don't know how, but I noted that a lot of people easily talk themselves out of trying, out of doing their best, out of being excellent, out of going to the top. And yeah, because I suppose the communities we come from also, they have that lendubuti, yapap, meaning that you being forward, you being that's the way actually of clipping our wings and making sure that we don't rise as high as they fear they can't.
So now we stay comfortable, we stay safe, we stay average because it's everyone is there. So it's you fit in.
Yeah, it's belonging. It's being part of the crew. It's being part of the team. It's being part of the family. We have that as human beings. We have a deep need to belong. To be part of something greater than ourselves, because we are aware of the danger that exists in the world. The danger of not having your clan with you, the danger of standing out, because then you become an easy target for ridicule. Who look like us and who live in this environment where we're in. We kind of like we exalt belonging at the expense of our uniqueness, of our authenticity. And if you're talking about the world of value, Leroy, uniqueness, authenticity, scarcity. If it's unique, it's also scarce. If it's unique, it's also authentic. And that's the component of value. That's why we buy a rare diamond. That's why we buy the exclusive limited edition. I mean, it's written all around us. And so sadly, in our township environments and in the backgrounds that we come from, we kind of are uncomfortable with that because we believe in more safety in numbers. Although there's a principle and a philosophy that makes a lot of sense, it doesn't do a lot of, doesn't help us a lot when we step into the world of business, where
Mm,
you got to stand out, where you got to innovate, where you have to separate yourself from the rest to stand to be found, to be unique. Talk
yeah.
about Batu, for example. Talk about Drip. Talk
Mm,
about Makos, brand wear. Talk about Umnisi. I mean, we're talking about is that's uniqueness.
mm.
That's
No,
uniqueness.
no, that's good job. But I think before we start, I didn't even introduce you, eh? I
Hey,
think we jumped
I said,
straight into it, eh? But that's interesting. I think we need to go back to that, the uniqueness, because that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand now because it comes with criticism. It comes with eyes on you. It comes with something. Loneliness, eh? You go at it alone, and I like Bill Winston. Now you're a pastor too. Maybe we can chat about that too. Bill Winston. So I like Bill Winston. I like him because he's funny and he talks about business and money. And obviously it's an area that I want to grow in. And he says, can you stand to be blessed? He says,
hmm,
because you might pick up some haters on the way up. Um, but let me just read. So Jabu is a keynote speaker, ladies and gentlemen. He's an executive coach, facilitating leadership, effective communication in emotional intelligence, high performance, diversity and inclusion, resilience, and relationship counseling. Now, Jabu, you've done so much. You've traveled the world. You've worked for amazing organizations. Um, I'm not going to go through all of that. It's going to take us like 10 minutes to read that. So we got a very special guest here. And Jabu, maybe even your own words. But before we start, guys, I've got my website up there, www.leroyslava.com. Check out the website, put your details in there. If you want to learn about property, if you want to invest in property, put your details on there. We've got deals that we've done, information on there. So make sure you check out the website. Put in your details so we have your details. If we have any um, deals coming up, whatever we have, we'll send you all the information on there. So check that out. So Jabu, maybe in your own words, if you can tell us, what do you do? So guys, today we're talking about township entrepreneurial mindset and township entrepreneurs. So we're going to talk about, maybe I think we'll touch maybe on some of the, what's the difference between a township entrepreneur and maybe your normal entrepreneur. Maybe what are some of the pros and the cons in townships, Jabu? Can we get into that? What are some of the, how to grow the township economy? Because I know some people are saying, I want to get out of the township. Some people are saying, listen, I want to get into the township. There's opportunities there. So maybe if in your own words, Jabu, if you can tell us, what do you do on a daily basis?
well, Leroy, my man, I call myself a mindset development specialist, and I chose that title even though it didn't exist because for me it describes precisely what I do. Mindsets, they are categories of thinking that lead to a specific outcome, whether you're aware of it or not. A human being is designed with an ability to compartmentalize, to structure, to categorize information to make it easier for us to process it.
Mm,
So, as a mindset, so that's what I study. That's what I focus on. I focus on identifying which different categories of thinking actually result in a specific outcome. Categories
mm,
about identity, for example, categories about relationships, categories about leadership, about entrepreneurship. So, as a specialist, then development talks to the process that it takes to develop that. How does it that develop in our minds, in our brains? And then specialist basically means that I've made that a special focus. It's a call on my
mm,
life. It's a call that God had placed in my heart for a very long time. Even as a pastor, I've always been very interested in categorical thinking, in studying scripture and categories and going deep into understanding the thoughts that build up
mm,
a particular statement that either God would make or certain or even psalmists or the proverbs would make. Why does that make a lot of sense? So that's what I do as a mindset development specialist. And I do that specifically in the area of leadership, in the area of entrepreneurship, in the area of emotional intelligence, effective communication, relationships, high performance. And recently, I've started to really focus all of my attention on actually confidence. confidence
Mm.
mindset, because I noted
That's
that
huge,
actually
eh?
confidence is, yeah, it is. I mean, it's so important. It's so key. I mean, you
That's
can
huge.
have all the intelligence in the world. You can be the most hardest working person in the world. You can come up with the most incredible innovations and everything like that in the world. But if you don't have confidence, it's almost like everything is up for the taking. Because if you don't have confidence, for example, you would sell yourself short. You would not protect yourself. Let's say maybe if you're coming up with an invention, if you're coming up with an idea, at the table of negotiation, you'd very easily lose. And I
Mm.
realized that as we were talking earlier on, in terms of the township mindset, if I can put it that way, one of the things we discourage is standing up for yourself, standing up for what you believe in, standing out altogether, which basically means that then we mislabel confidence as something that is to be looked down upon, and then it's actually become targeted when you become confident. We have words like,
Mm.
or you see in Sotho a born or isiZulu as born, which means that you see yourself,
Mm.
you're feeling yourself. Like it's a way
Mm.
of saying, listen, don't stand out, don't speak up for yourself, don't think differently, don't see differently from the way we do. And in a world that is so generic, where everything is so quick pop and convenient, as unfortunately we are falling behind. So that's what I do as a mindset development specialist. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And I think you know what, with the confidence side, that was a huge thing for me, Jabu.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know my background. So I was basically came to the 20s. You know, the normal parties, get yourself on drugs, get yourself in that, and then um, that was about probably a 10-year journey. Then in 2000, I think about 25, and I went to church, gave my heart to the Lord, and then God started working in my life now at 25. But then I lacked confidence. It took me such a long time to build up confidence in to go to certain places, to speak to certain people, to ask for certain things. It took quite a while. And I think one thing as well was because I didn't have degrees or all these things. It was like when you're in a room with accountants, it's a bit. When
Yeah.
you're in a room with attorneys, when you're in a room with certain people that are doing well in their field or educated, you
Hmm.
you shrink. You shrink back for a while. So
Hmm.
it took me many years to get over that. So
Yeah.
that's actually very important. And just picking up a phone call and say, listen, Jabu, um what's happening here, can you help me there, or sending an email, that was even a struggle, just a simple thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually powerful what you mentioned there. How do you become a mindset development? What do you study? Where do you go?
Well, I mean, you're not going to find this at the university, Leroy. This is from the University of Life, man. When I finished school and I didn't have the money to go to school, I understood there was something that always said to me, listen, man, just because you can't go to school doesn't make you any less. It doesn't make you any less valuable.
Mm,
So figuring out what is my contribution in the world? I mean, what can I do differently? Growing up poor, growing up in the township where you don't have the clothes, you don't have the food most of the time when you go to school. In fact, most of my life, I hardly ever took any money to school or any food to school. So I used to exchange jokes during
mm,
break time, so guys can actually give me something as a way of sort of like, hey, finding my way in. But another thing that I also noted is that I mean, all of us have a need to be valuable. And if you don't have the money, which is the way that we value people, if you don't come from the right family, which is the way we normally value people from back in townships, if you don't have the, whatever it is that makes you stand out, then you sort of like, especially if you're poor, then you shrink back, like you were saying, you shrink back somewhere in the corner.
mm,
But I didn't like that. I didn't like not being part. And so I figured very early on, one of the ways you do that is that what are you good at? I realized I was good at grasping information, so I did well at school. I was
mm.
good at memorizing stuff. So, for example, back in the day we used to write songs, right? At the
Yeah.
time of Studio Mix,
Yes, 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 yes,
the
yes,
time
yes.
of Studio Mix. So I would like sit on at my friend's house, Studio Mix, record the songs, write them down on Monday, I would know the songs. I would do all the rapping. I would do all the singing of the songs. Kind of figure out, okay, this I can, at least this I can do well. I don't need money for this. I can figure it out by myself. Dancing, I could figure it out by myself. Sports, I could figure it out by myself. So I realized that there's so many things that doesn't require money, but if you excel in them, they can make space for you in the community, in the environment. And when I finished school, I realized the same thing. Okay, I don't have money, so what do I need to do? So I found work. Started off by, you know, cleaning in Alex. There's a factory outside of Alex when I moved from the Free State, where there was ice cream factory. I was cleaning, earning 35 rand a day, but I didn't have a place to stay, so I stayed in an abandoned building right next to the factory where I was working. So that's why I lived for about 3 months.
To say that you came
I was there for about 3 months.
Yeah, I heard it for like 2 minutes, and then we had to start the event, and I was like, such a great story. But then people were there, and and then we had to start. We'd say you were homeless, and I was like, serious.
That's true.
Wow. So maybe if you continue that story, going from there, being homeless in the building, and to where you are now, what drove you? What were some of the challenges? What encouraged you?
Look, the thing is that when you're in that place, Leroy, it's do or die, man. It's do or die. Either you die or you do. Yeah. Okay? And that's what we got to understand sometimes. Where we come from, we got to do, man. You got to do, and you got to do. You got to do it well. So I did my thing. 35 rand a day. And then from there, the guy wasn't paying me. He was giving me a hard time. So I started then selling stuff on the streets. From there, I moved into becoming a waiter. And then from waitering, I just worked my way up. The one restaurant I worked at.
How old were you this time, Jabu?
I was 19, man. I was 19.
And your parents, 19. Where now? Where's the family now? If you sleeping in the
bed, bro, come on, man. We don't.
Where? No, because I'm thinking I've got a mother, I've got a sister, I've got cousins.
That's
places to go. I don't think I would ever be. I don't think even when back then. I always had somewhere to go.
I didn't. I didn't know where there was a point where I didn't know where my mother was. My father is a bit mentally unstable, so he has an illness, and so he couldn't look after me. The uncle that was going to help me out kicked me out for whatever reason, told me, hey, I can't help you out anymore. So I was, I had to figure it out, man. I had to figure it out. There was one white guy that helped me out. His name is Nico de Klerk. De Klerk is actually the one that found me the work at the ice cream factory. And then also helped me out with a little with his business of biltongs, where he would give me stuff that I could sell on the streets. And then he's the same guy that took me to my first interview at the restaurant, and then that's how basically then everything opened up from there. So figuring out that when you have, or the only thing with choices you have is either you die or you do. I did, and so got into the restaurant. Within 5 months, I became a restaurant manager at the age of 20. It was in the Pretoria East and Morletta Park. This is a totally affluent Afrikaans area, but I come from the Free State, so Afrikaans is for me a problem. So I just went on and applied for my Afrikaans. Hey?
So you part?
Yeah. So I was like all Afrikaans. I went all the way, studied Afrikaans even more, understood, and then did everything. I would do everything or the menu in Afrikaans, and that helped me. And this is another thing on that point, Leroy. I want to say this for us, township entrepreneurs and Black people and all of that. We need to stop regretting and hating Afrikaans and hating English or anything like that. In a country like South Africa, if you want to get into that market, you need to understand that in any market you walk into, there are hierarchies. The hierarchies of power, the hierarchies of order. And you need to understand how things work in that space. I understood that very quickly in Pretoria. Afrikaans helped me. Got into that job, became a manager within 5 months. Within a year, I got another job as a car salesman because I spoke Afrikaans. And at the time, I wanted also to be in television. One of the producers of Pasela, you know Pasela?
I remember Pasela. Was it a food show, like a lifestyle show? What was Pasela?
Yeah, it was a lifestyle show by Afrikaans. And the guy's like, I like you. You speak Afrikaans very well, so come. And then I got the job, except I didn't have a license.
Afrikaans show, Jabu. Was it Afrikaans? Marcela.
Was Afrikaans, yeah.
Is it?
Afrikaans. My challenge was that I didn't have a license, so I needed to get a license. So I failed 3 times, and then eventually the guy was like, "Listen, I can't wait for you." So remember, back in the day when the Idol started, there was a guy called Brendan October.
Are you going back now? Idol,
Yeah,
Brendan
Brendan
October.
October was the
The
Idols
singer.
guy. The first, it was a colored guy. Second, he came second, I think, in Idols. He got the job. He basically
Yeah.
eventually then they gave him the job. But anyway, the thing is that we need to understand that we need to be good at language, not just speaking the language, but also communication. As a non-native English speaker, man, I understood that if I improve my ability to speak English and to speak it well and to understand it, it can give me a differential in the world. For me as a black person, if I speak the way that I speak, it's a currency for me. It's a component of currency for me. Call me whatever you want. Whether you want to call me a coconut, whatever, it's totally up to you. I didn't grow up speaking like this. I saw that if I speak like this and I look like this, it's an advantage for me. So then I decided to make that a component of my currency.
But why do we do that? Why do we do that, Jabu? You think language is important and speaking it's as currency. And let's say the way you speak, or let's call Vusinte Bongwai or someone as black people, we why do we do that? And we put people down for sometimes for how they speak, especially if they're fluent in, let's say, in English, like yourself. Or why do we do that? Why do we criticize people for speaking well?
Again, it's a component of value. We don't think we're valuable. So we will see one of us doing things that show the opposite. We have to find a way to slight it. One of the things we say, well, in yoga, the person is using a snake. They're going into his craft. We will say, well, if it's a woman, maybe they slept with someone, except it's a black woman. Well, if it's a black guy, maybe, even other people that would say, well, maybe you got the job because of triple BE. But there is a relentless mindset that represents a black person as being less. We have bought into that. We believe that. As a result, we end up then living it out as mindsets again, categories of thinking that lead to an outcome. But all throughout your life, you're told that people who look like you cannot go to New York. They cannot go to Dubai. They cannot be great in the world. I come from the Free State, a very small town, tiny town called Untitled. Most people not even heard about it.
Yeah, I've never heard
close
about
to Bethlehem. It's a tiny place, man. But if a small person, if a young person, poor person who was literally raised himself from like the age of 8 because I was raised by my grandfather. My grandfather, I mean, back in the day, I mean, what could he do? If you could do that from that place and then find yourself speaking in New York, find yourself speaking, having clients from Australia, from Asia, while you stay in South Africa. I mean, if you can do that, anything is possible. But we discourage that because we're told that we cannot achieve it. Today, somebody will hear me and think, oh, it's coconut. Maybe he had a very good background. Maybe his family's, he was connected. No, was not. Not even close, brother.
Now how did you? Well done, well done. Just so well done, man. I think that's tougher than most people, So well done and congratulations. How do you overcome that? How do you overcome coming from the small town, being alone, more coming here, being put out, being in the building? How do you overcome it? What do you say that you do? So you do, but obviously now you've got this whole rejection thing, you've got the lack of finances, you've got the lack of how do you overcome that to say, listen, I'm not going to let this hold me down? Because you might as well have felt sorry for yourself, started pickpocketing or robbing guys on the corner, got into some bad crowds wherever you were. In the abandoned building, I'm sure there were drug users or guys smoking stuff in there as well. So how did you not get involved in that side and go this direction?
Look, I mean, I think one of the things, let's start first with self-awareness. I'm going to give the guys 4 different ways of starting with confidence, right? The first thing is about confidence. And the confidence is about your identity. Identity, you got to know what you're good at, who you are as a person, and what are you good at? What are you good at as a person? there is evidence in your life of things you've been good at. Maybe you've been good at, like getting people together. That's a skill that you've got. How do you get people together? Maybe you've been good at thinking outside the box. How do you make that into a component that can help you to build your currency as a person so that you can become a person of value? Know your identity. Don't so easily. If you can so easily accept what people say you are, why would you then find it difficult to accept the things that you know that you're not? If you know that you're not that, why do you accept what they say as opposed to actually building on what you know? So identity, man, build on who you are. Self-acceptance. Accept who you are, accept your limitations, accept that you're going to grow sometimes, accept that, yes, life has not dealt you the best hand. But the thing is that now that you are older, now that you have you're competent intellectually, now that you can make your own decisions, make decisions that serve you well. Make decisions that serve you well. Don't so easily hand that over to somebody else or to the environment and say it made me look this way. Live consciously. So that's the first point. Second point is that have a personal vision. What is it that you want to achieve in life? If you can think about what it is that you want to achieve in life, oftentimes it's going to be linked to how you have served your community, how you have come out, how you've showed up in your different environments, as I've mentioned, whether as a musician, whether as somebody who is very smart with mathematics, whether as somebody who's very entrepreneurial, whatever that is, understand that that is probably the gift that talent that God has given to you to serve your world that you live in. Purpose will give you direction. Purpose will actually determine your degree of impact. Purpose will give you your significance. That is what gives you your value. So if you have a personal vision, your personal vision oftentimes is going to be the parameter within which you're going to build your currency as a human being. Currency, let's think about it in simple terms. 1 rand versus a pound. 1 rand pound is like 22 units of a pound. So in other words, think about it in words. When you open your mouth, you say something. Does the word that you say, the sentence you say, does it have one-time impact or does it have 22 times the impact? And that is basically whenever you move from who you are as a person, start thinking in terms of the community I'm in terms of the people who are around me, how can I serve them? How can I be of help to them? And move away from this thing where we're fearing people are going to take advantage of me. People are going to undermine me. They're disrespecting me. Like, listen, man, the moment you begin to excel, the moment you begin to help people, the moment you begin to show that your efforts achieve what you're aiming to achieve because you're disciplined, because you have character, because you have a commitment and dedication, people automatically start to respect you. Will there be an occasional hater, if you want to use that word? Yeah, I don't even know who my haters are because I don't care. I have no time for that. I only know people who can be able to help me, and I focus on going after them. And the third thing, Leroy, I want to talk about is credibility. How do you do it? When you're doing something, how well are you doing it, man? All right. How much of it are you doing? How long does it last? How consistent are you as a person? Do you deliver the certain level of excellence every single time? Or are you like a yo-yo? Today, sometimes we're red, sometimes we're orange. Like there's a song Madibu saying, like you're like a robot. What you're delivering, man. When somebody calls Leroy and says, Leroy, listen, man, I have a property deal. Does Leroy move with speed consistently? Or are there moments where he just ignores a phone call, where he ghosts the person and then lies and says, well, there was a network thing and I couldn't call you back, then you start saying this guy is unreliable. And that messes up with your credibility. And the last thing I want to say is character. Character is about self-accountability. Do you account for yourself? Do you show up for yourself? It's about self-leadership. Do you lead yourself, or are you always looking for something, for somebody to push you, to motivate you, to tell you, hey, get up in the morning? I mean, I get up automatically 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't even think about it. It just happens because I've trained my mind to do that. And I start working. As soon as I finish with my kids and preparing them, when they leave, I don't go back to bed. By the time they leave, 6:30, I start doing my work. By the time 7, 8 o'clock hits, I've already covered a lot of ground.
Just
You know what I mean?
it's a
I
good start.
promise you, those 2 hours,
Serious.
bro. Those two
Yes.
hours make a massive difference in terms of in the world as far as productivity is concerned. You know,
So I think so. You've got job. You've given us some good tips. You said know yourself, have a vision, be credible, and have the character. Right, and those are some good tips. And I wanted to get into the township mindset, but I think before we go into the township mindset, um that morning of yours, because that's so important, how you start your morning.
yeah.
That is super important. So maybe if you can give us those first 2 hours of your morning in just a cup 1-2 minutes, just so someone that is looking to be consistent, to be um disciplined, and they say, okay, this, if I can do this in the morning and start every morning like this, at least I've gotten off to a great start, to a positive start in the morning.
We all need inspiration and motivation in the morning. So the first thing I do in the morning, of course, I mean, I wake up, I pray, my praying man. I pray as soon as I get in my bed, I pray, and then when I get down, as I'm preparing my kids' stuff, I'm listening to an inspirational video.
Mm,
Oftentimes, it's biblical. It's a sermon. I have a list of subjects that I focus on. If I'm thinking about prayer, if I'm thinking about trusting God, then I'll be doing that. After that, I'm going to go then into the motivation. Motivation then is about listening to people who really can get your brain awake. You know, in the morning they talk about these different waves of your brain, and if you inject motivation, then you rise to a high level of awareness in terms of your brain, in terms of
mm,
your focus, because there isn't much going on in the morning. You've got high retention of information. So then I would
mm,
have, and I run themes. I love to run themes. So I'll run a theme of effective communication. I run a theme of changing my mind, transforming my mind. I'll run different things in line of leadership, in line with what I want to be, who I want to become as a human being.
yeah.
And then after that, after I've done that, then I have a focus. Like right now, I'm busy writing my book. I've been delaying it now. I'm busy writing it now. So those 1.5 hours, I'm busy writing my book.
We should get together. I'm also writing a book. I've just started. I've got I've got just some things put down. So I've also started, with the book. So
Yeah,
maybe
we
we
gotta
should get
start, man.
together. Maybe you can help me as well.
Nah,
Oh,
sure, let's do it, man.
no, that's good, because the morning's important, and I think that routine. And I always used to like people, especially pastors and things, that people are successful, and say, listen, how do you start your morning? What do you do in the morning? Um,
I mean,
and
it's in the
so
Bible. It's
wait,
constantly throughout the Bible the importance of waking up, rising up early. You know what I mean?
give us one example, one or two.
I'm thinking now of of King Solomon. I'll give you it's just quick verses now. So for example, I love to watch, or rather, I love to read I love to read Proverbs,
Yeah.
because in Proverbs there are many scriptures about just life. But if I can think of a few now, Psalm 119 and 147 says, "I rise before dawn, I cry out for help.
Mm,
I wait your words." All right. So basically, here meaning that in the morning, I understand that the world is tough. I cry out and I look for help.
yeah.
In 127 verse 2 says that it is vain for you to rise up early and to retire late, to eat bread of painful labors, but for he gives to his beloved even in his sleep. And then here it's talking about, for example, somebody who wakes up early because of they couldn't have a good sleep because they're worried about life. They have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because they wasted their day. So when you waste your day, you don't sleep. Like when I sleep at night, I go out. Unless there's something lingering in my mind, I'm out. There are many more that I can give you, but I mean
No, that's good.
those are the two that I
That's
can
good.
think
That's
about now.
good. I think, yeah, you're giving us good stuff here, man. So guys, if you have any questions, any comments, pop it in there. For JABU ZWANE, mindset development specialist, also a pastor. Now, JABU Township entrepreneurs, the township economy. Maybe the last few minutes we can talk about that. Township economy is interesting because I know of people that say, listen, my main goal is to get out of this township. Other guys are
Yeah, look,
saying,
I mean,
listen, there's opportunity in the township, and I want to take advantage of the opportunity in the township, because the township obviously comes with with different obstacles and different um, challenges as well. So,
yeah.
when you think of township economy, what comes to mind?
Look, I mean, there's undoubtedly an opportunity to improve our townships. I think that's the big thing about it. The challenge with the reason why we want to leave the township is because we're tired of the disorder. Clearly, there is disorder. And part of that is because if you think about it in terms of the mindset perspective, it starts with our families, right? There are three important aspects that shape us as human beings, that influence us. The first one is relationships. The second one is the environment. And the third one is the institutional order, the institutional order.
Yeah.
Relationships is about relationships and about belonging. But within the relationship setting itself, of course, the relationship would have the environment in the family. There'll be your own environment. What's environment? That's your culture. That's the rituals that you do. That's the language you speak. Those are the standards and norms that are within the family. It's not really laws per se, but it's sort of like common mutual agreements that we make with one another. And then the last one would be then the institution. Institution will be normally in the form of your parent and your mother and your father, because they're the law. They give order. So when there's any dispute, and in terms of the environment, the culture where we disagree, they'll say, nope, Leroy, your older brother, you cannot exert that much power on your younger brother because he's weaker than you. So that's the order. Now, of many of our townships, we don't have that. And as a result, it translates into the environment, in terms of the culture, and then, of course, into the institutional structure, which means that we grow up then with this poor framework of institution. What's institution? It's education, it's law and order, it's economy, which is the law of reward for our performance, and of course, it's the media, which is basically where we can go to find information. That's what information is. That's what media is supposed to be. Those are the four pillars of an institution: education, law and order, economy, and media. In the townships, we don't have that.
Say
And
that
as a
again.
result,
Education, law and order, media, and
economy.
the economy. So those are the four pillars of any society.
Yeah. Economy is about the reward. It's the law of reward for our efforts. So, in other words, when you look at the township economy, we say, what can we do where we can get rewarded for our efforts? So when we're looking around, these guys come from Pakistan, from other places, and they see an opportunity in terms of what they can be rewarded. But the challenge with us is that we have been taught that whatever we have been good at pre-apartheid, whatever the case might be, it makes us less. So we look down on spaza shops. We look down on on running, on spaza shops, and even starting a business with a good business in the township, because in our minds, in terms of value, in terms of our status, because we were attacked for so long on our identity and our status, we don't think that it's good to have, even if you've got a massive, well-running business in the township, it's not as good as the one that is in the suburbs. But we forget something. Why do you have a business? The business is to offer service. The business to get money. The 1 rand from the suburb, 1 rand from the township, it's the same.
Yeah,
it helps achieve the same thing. But we look down on the rand that comes from the township. We look down on product and value that is within the township, and so we take the money out. So if you're looking at in India, they say that 1 rupee rotates 7 times before it leaves the Indian community. Right? Because that's what economy is. It means that I'm going to you and buying the jacket from you, I'm buying the food from, and then she comes and buys a magunya from me, and then they, you know what I mean. So there's money's rotating. That's what builds the economy. But in South Africa, 1 rand doesn't even rotate 2 times. It leaves. In most African communities, 1 unit of currency doesn't even rotate twice. It leaves immediately.
Why not?
Because we undervalue what's in our community. That's why we don't buy the things that are in the community.
It's like I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking of an example. I think it's like there was a garage in Rega Park, and when we were younger, and started getting our cars, it was, you wouldn't put petrol in there because they said there was, that the petrol is diluted. So
Yeah.
you'd rather, that's an engine, you would rather drive to town and get petrol instead of getting it at that garage in the township, because there's something wrong. And now you're thinking, listen, if they put water in the petrol, cars won't drive. And it's the same petrol that came from wherever it was.
Yeah.
But you would never put petrol unless it's desperate, unless you're on empty. Um, then you'd rather go to town, to a better looking garage, than go to, and maybe it was also the look of the garage. Maybe the garage didn't look too great too, so you would also
Yeah.
want a better garage. And I'm also thinking of shops. You would rather buy groceries and go to a Checkers or Pick and Pay in town, than have a Checkers or Pick and Pay and go to the one in the township.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is this: at the end of the day, we make choices based on what we see. All right.
Mm,
So we need to understand that as entrepreneurs. So if you're running a business in the township, how does it look?
yeah.
I say to the guys, how's your signage? If your signage is poor, I mean, it kind of is a turn down.
Yeah.
How's your paint work? If your paint work in your store that you're running in the township is not good, then it kind of turns you down. How is the overall cleanliness around the business that you're running? If
Mm,
I can smell pee every time I walk into your store, I'm not so keen on going in there.
yeah.
Eventually, what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, whenever I'm coming to interact with your business, will eventually overcome. So even if
Mm,
I have the character and the commitment to improving black business and stuff like that, I have to also, I would prefer myself first before I prefer you. So if what you're
yes.
doing is inconvenience me, make me sick, potentially make me lose money, then I'll end up losing. So that's the one part of it. What do we do as entrepreneurs in the townships? What about excellence? Are we giving the best? This is my definition of excellence. Is your best every time? And what does your best consist of? Your best consists of your effort. Are you giving your
Mm,
best effort? All right. And your effort, it depends on the amount of knowledge, the quality of knowledge you have in doing what you're doing. All right. So where have you learned? Are you constantly improving? Are you improving on what you know? Are you adding more knowledge to what you do? The second part is the methods. What kind of methods are you using? You know, here's the things I shared the other day also at the township symposium was this: don't make the success of the transaction dependent on me as a client. It's up to you
mhm.
to make sure that the transaction happens.
Yeah.
I come, you don't have change. I come,
Mm,
you don't have the machine. I come,
mm.
and then I
You
have
are
to now
serving.
wait. You have to go
Mm,
next door to go look for change. I mean, come on, you're inconveniencing me.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Mm,
what are methods in terms of the methods of running your business? What infrastructure are you building with Yoko these days? With WhatsApp, sorry, not WhatsApp, with e-wallet. Some people still don't take e-wallet. I understand, but you know what? I mean, you got to think about these things. And then the other thing then would be the time, the amount of time. You know, how much time does it take for me to for you to do what you're doing? What is my experience? And then last,
mm,
of course, is the best results. You know,
mm,
the best results. So it's your effort, your methods, your time for the best results.
mm,
That's the division of excellence right there. And everything that you're doing, it all depends on what you know. How much do you know about what you say you know? Are
mm,
you constantly improving, or are you just sitting there?
mm,
And then, so that's basically, those are the two things. And on the other hand, of course, is the clients. What is our mindset about our perception about township products and business?
mm,
Unfortunately, until us as township entrepreneurs improve on our business and start seeing our business not as a black business or as a township business, but I see it as a business that could potentially go global,
yeah.
or that can attain a certain level of standard.
Mm.
Unfortunately, we're stuck, man. We're done.
Sure. So that's good stuff.
It
And
doesn't
I think
change.
that's so that's good. So you're saying that's how you see the business. And sometimes what we have in the township is, because it's people we know,
We undermine
and
them.
you undermine them. So now it's not as clean as you would if it was in a mall, or in Sandton, or in Bedford View, or wherever it is. that if you had a shop there and you have one there, that your signage is old, you don't have everything because you're familiar with the people, and now the
Yeah.
people look at it. So now you're saying the people are not supporting me, but you're not providing
Don't
a good
respect them.
product or good service, and now
You're
people leave.
undermining them. Yeah.
That's
You're
powerful.
undermining the people.
That is powerful. That is powerful.
Here's one of the mindsets that I have, attitude that I have. My most valuable relationships, I look after them. I don't care how long I've had it for. My biggest clients, I look after them.
Mm.
I don't cross the lines. You know, we have this thing of in our language, "Utwailan," which means that you raak gewond aan iemand.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you just get so used to them, and you start to undermine the sacredness of the relationship, the importance of the relationship. You know, like once you get used to somebody's house, then you just walk in, you don't knock anymore. You go to the fridge and then you start looking for food because you're so used. Just it's so gewond and that you're undermining everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I've learned, especially from American counterparts, is that they don't do that, man. The more familiar, the more valuable the relationship is, the more intentional you are in preserving it and making sure that it doesn't, the relationship does not get undermined in any way. So we need to learn that. We need to learn that the biggest amount of clientele in the country is Black people. It's the people in the townships who are lifting up the economies in the suburbs. So if you're
Yeah.
deciding to start a business in the township, take care of the people. Yes, people have attitude. It's fine. Forget about that. But understand that your focus is to deliver the business. Teach yourself skills on how to relate to people so that you don't get easily upset. You don't start swearing at people, start giving them attitude. You get to a shop in the township and then, like, dude, I got my own issues. I don't have time to take over. I'm not have time to take over your attitude. I've got my own issues. My own life is hard enough as it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't make it hard for me. Make it easier for your people to do business with you by improving and making sure that you gather the skills and you shift with the way you think about yourself and about the people.
That's the amazing tips there. So if you have a business in the township, it should be the same excellence in service and the same quality of product that it would be whether it be in a suburb or in
Yeah.
another neighborhood, eh? And I think that is one of the things that you can look at, because if you look at some of the shops, they don't look, the signage is not good. It doesn't look, whether it be clean, but the walls are a bit dirty, right?
Yeah. It's not
And
inviting.
you'll come in, there's maybe not a serviette, or there's maybe not a fork, or and now you're like, ah man, you know what, I'd rather go to Spur or to Steers, or go to whatever, or go to Mount. So that's actually good, eh? And then people say, listen, you are not supporting me.
Yeah.
And
Look,
how do you, no, go for it, go for it.
look, I don't want to support you. I want to buy stuff from you.
Yeah.
I want to support you.
Yeah.
I can't support you at my own expense. Do I work hard for my money? Don't I get yelled at the office? I get yelled at the office. I got stresses. I'm just gonna just give you my money because you look like me. Make it easier for me to do business with you, brother. It's very simple. Really, excellence is important. I am so pedantic about that, Leroy. Like literally, for me, even when for example, I do branding and I do graphic designing. And one of the reasons why I did that is because I paid 3 Black graphic designers money and I lost 15,000 rand. I lost 15,000 rand because they didn't deliver. They didn't do the website they said they're gonna do. They didn't do anything they're supposed to. It was like, eventually, I don't have the money to pay certain. So I learned the skill myself.
Yeah.
And now I'm using it. Now I started a business of branding, specifically in graphic designing. And because I know how pedantic I am, I'm not gonna, for example, if you come to me for a logo, believe you me, you're not paying less than 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay more than that. Why? Because I make sure that I'm excellent at it. If you come to me and say to me, design for me a marketing video for my product, you better get ready to pay, because I'm gonna make sure that it is world class. I'm gonna make sure that it does it delivers the message, because I understand messaging and I understand influence, and I don't just like do put it together.
Yeah.
Because I understand the importance of excellence when it comes to certain things, man. And
Mm.
so we need to understand, we need to really take on that and stop thinking that we deserve less, and because of that we give back less, and
Yes,
then
so
we're
deep.
expecting support.
Yeah. You're letting me think now about what I'm doing. Am I doing it in excellence? Am I doing it in excellence every time? Mm, mm.
It's a
And
question
and,
you gotta
and
ask yourself all the time.
and we get a lot of questions. So let's say I'll do a building, right? I'll buy a building, I'll convert it, and we get a lot of people to say, listen, you need to empower. You need to support black people. There must be a black company doing the construction. There must be a black engineer. There must be a black um, and people are listening. You need to empower your people. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about, because you touched on, you had three black guys, black graphic designers, and they messed up, and then you learned the skill yourself. But then someone like yourself, a lot of guys that are doing stuff, it's like always, listen, you need to empower. How do you feel about the empowerment side of it? What are your views on that?
I believe in partnership. I don't believe in empowerment. Nothing. I think that's actually that's a mindset word that keeps us down.
Uh,
I don't need to empower you, Leroy. You're good at what you do, man. I want to partner with you because you are
mm,
excellent at what you do. I want to be
mm,
part of your win. Show me
yeah,
that you're winning. All right. Because empowerment is a victim mentality. I'm so unempowered. Help me out. This is
mm,
what I've learned. The mindset of donation, which is support, and the
yeah.
mindset of investment. Are you ready for this one? I think this will be a
Oh,
good closing.
go for it. Go for it. Wait. Just repeat that again. The mindset of.
Donations,
Yeah.
which is the same as the support mindset, and the mindset of investments.
Right.
Donations is normally I'm doing something, I need help. Okay, I need help. So give me 5 rand. I can't help myself. Look at me. It's a shame. I'm soliciting sympathy from people.
Yeah.
Solicitation of sympathy from people will not get you the best out of people. At the very least, the first thing you're doing is that you're making yourself less. People feel superior. You're saying that I don't know what to do. And so people then have to lead you, and you put in the burden on them.
Mm,
And nobody wants to take on your own burden.
mm.
Right? So
Yeah.
when they donate, like that's why people give 5 rand and then they walk away. That's why they give 100 rand and they walk away. That's why maybe they give 5,000 rand and they walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are doing what you're doing, and you're doing with excellence, yes, you're struggling. Yes, it's hard, but you're grinding and you're constantly improving and you're becoming better at it. And then your business itself is also growing. People are like, oh, that guy's winning, man. Let's find out why. What's going on?
Yeah.
That's partnership. That's
Mm,
investment. That's the difference between 1,000 rand and 200,000. That's different between a once-off interaction to multiple interactions over time and business deals over time. There's a
mm.
difference between a one-time encounter to a network. The
Yeah.
one builds a network for you. The other one is just one-time encounters.
Mm.
Build a partnership mindset with your clientele.
Yeah.
Know them when they come into your business. Have personal relationship with them. Deliver the best service every single time, and you create a partnership. And then with partnership, there's loyalty. With partnership, there's personal commitment.
Mm.
And that's a
Yes.
long-term environment. That's a long-term deal.
So you don't empower, you partner.
I partner.
You
I don't. Why? I
want.
don't empower you. I want to partner with you.
And in our we as black people, we have that, and everything needs to be empowerment. We black empowerment, BEE. Um, just
It,
so that's I
it's a
think that's
mindset thing, man. It's the power of Leroy. It's the power of language. When I say to you, I'm going to empower you, it means that I take the position of superiority over you. All
yeah.
right. And you maintain the position of inferiority. It means that I decide, and then you just have to accept, because you are the one that's being empowered, the one that needs my help. And at the table of negotiation, a disempowered negotiator is a defeated negotiator.
Because there needs
Lost.
to be exchange of value. So if we just
Exchange of
empower,
value.
so why would I spend time with you if the goal is just to empower? What's in it for me?
Dude, if I'm operating my power, you take your power, put my power together. Together we have double the power. It's that by the Bible about the one chord string is weaker than a two chord string, but the three chord string is even stronger. You know, like that's the principle that I don't want anybody to carry me. And unfortunately, Leroy, as a pastor for the last 15 years, I've done a lot of projects in townships. I've done a lot of free projects, free everything. And then people don't show up, unfortunately, many times. Even if they do, they're just showing up for different reasons. But I noted that the moment I start charging for these events, people then that go and hustle the money, they have the mindset. And then they come in and then they do what needs to be done. And then the return on my effort is so much higher. They give feedback. They'll say, I've done the business. Can you help me out? And I'll connect them with this person that does this or does that. And then the next thing you know, we've created a network. And then that's a long-term relationship. You know, whenever, and that's the challenge sometimes with delivering free stuff, is when I'm giving something for free, you don't commit. You don't commit because you don't know what it costs. But once you've paid for something, you understand the cost. There is a mindset of commitment. There's an attitude of commitment to what I've paid for the thing. And then I'm more likely than to do something for
time wasters as well. It's a good way to sift through time wasters by putting a cost to it. And you know that these are serious people showing up.
When I started off, I'll give you an example. I started off doing coaching for 400 Rand an hour. You know, the guys would come and then, but then I moved, like, you know, forget this. I started moving to 750, then 1,000. Now I'm doing 3,000 an hour. Guess what? When I charge you 3,000 Rand an hour, you come. Show up. We do the work that needs to get done. And I don't have those cheap packages anymore. You know that in terms of the online courses, for example, the best performing online courses are between $50 to $100. All right. That's the right in the middle there. The worst performing online courses are less than $20.
Because people don't see value in it.
The people don't see value, and they have the highest amount of refunds request, because already people are thinking that it's not worth anything. And if they don't understand the value you're talking about, they assume that's because it's not valuable, so then they cancel. But when they've paid a certain amount of money for it, they actually think, I don't understand because I need to know more. And then they will stick it out that way. Because human beings, that's how we determine value, bro. And we commit to value.
Let me ask you a question, Jabu, so I don't have to pay 3,000 Rand. A quick one. This is for myself. I'm trying. Now, let's say you say the cheap courses are the least popular and there's the most refunds. And some of the thinkings are, if it's cheap, you get a lot more people on, and a lot more people can pay $20 than $100. So which means now you're going to get volume, right? So you're going to hit numbers with the cheaper ones. And if they pay, they'll keep on paying because the costs are low. Then if you have the $100 to the $20, what do you compare that thinking from a business side? If you think, listen, the cheaper it is, the more volume you get, the more expensive it is, the less people you get, and the longer you have these people, because it is a cheaper amount, a less amount.
Yeah. I'll say there are two things. There are two things quickly there. There's a factor of is it exclusive or is it not? Is it common? If something is easily available, like certain, let's say, cheap clothing or bread or stuff like that, obviously, I mean, you don't there's oversupply. All right, there's oversupply. But in certain markets, like in the market that I'm in, which is the market of thought, yes, there are hundreds and thousands of thoughts of course out there, but they're repetition. I, for example, went through the process of understanding mindset development. I've been developing that for the last 3-4 years. I've done presentations at Princeton University. I've done presentations at TUT. I'm working with some of the leading companies in the country. And the reason why I'm doing that is not because I'm highly qualified or anything like that, because I don't have a postgraduate degree. I only have a theology degree, but because it's exclusive and because it is unique, that is a
Mm,
value proposition. So you need to understand, what are you offering? Are you offering something that is unique? Are you offering something that's common? If it is common, something about your service has to be, about what you're doing has to be unique. Is it your
mm,
service? Is it the experience that you're offering? Is it the packaging that you're offering it in? Something has to be differential so that you can charge more for what you're offering. So
mm.
very simple. We know whatever is available in number, the law of demand, whatever is available in number, oversupply is cheap. Right now, we're paying 23, 25 rand a liter. Why? Because Ukraine and Russia are fighting, and because Russia and Ukraine also provide oil. There's scarcity of oil. That has shot up the price of oil up. The moment that war ends, the price of oil is going to come down again, right? That's just the way that it is. It's a law in nature. The more of you there are, the cheaper you are. But if there's one of you, if you are that Ronaldo, if you are the Michael Jackson, if you are the Barack Obama, if you are that unique person in history, you are valuable. Simple as that. It's a law that's over there. So that's what I'll
That's
say
a
about that.
Sure, so good stuff. I wish we can go on, but we've just hit an hour now. So what I want to do, Jabu, is I've got a new podcast set where we're gonna do face to face. We're gonna get cameras and in a nice set. I sent you the picture. Eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like it.
So I'm doing the first one there tomorrow. So then if someone is far and they can't come, then I'm gonna still do the virtual one. But I wanna change and improve, have more excellence, have better cameras and stuff.
Excellence.
So I'm taking your advice and I'm gonna have it on set. I'm having the first one tomorrow, and then I'd like us to have a part two of this, man. I think it's just we just need to go more and especially on the township economy and how to improve the mindset. And where do you start?
Mm.
Build up the confidence. Maybe like yourself, come from nothing. Some guys are maybe on substances. Some guys are on different things because we're actually starting with a 8 week um, drug course. We
Mm.
actually tonight. We probably start next week. And once those guys get clean, how do you start building up their? Because some of them have never had a job, so you might have to start selling something and grow a business. So maybe if we can do that whenever you have time in the next few weeks or
Yeah.
so, when we do a face to face one, in that'll be amazing. Because I think there's just so much knowledge and value that you can share with us. Um,
If you're running a program like that, Leroy, get me involved, man. I wouldn't mind doing a mindset course for those guys because they need a mindset. A
yeah.
lot of addictions, as much as there is a medical reason for it, but the prompt and the triggers are more a mindset issue a lot of times than it is actually the medical condition itself.
Yeah.
Eh, it's once we understand the power that we've got to make our decisions that are beneficial for us and not to do things that make us weak, and actually
Mm.
feel that we have that power. We feel from within that we are empowered from within, not from without. Then it's a whole different outcome altogether. But yeah, let's do it. I'll be open to that.
100%. I'll speak to the pastor. We need to ask our pastors, and ask him if, and then there's an 8 week program where they come in once a week, and there's a manual that the church put together to take them through it. But I think that would be amazing, except that would be amazing because obviously you've studied these things, the spiritual side and
Yeah,
the mental side, and both of it. So I think that'll be powerful. So I'm gonna share this video into all the community groups, and I hope it's gonna help people. If we can, where do we follow you, Jabba? Where do we get hold of you? Where do we follow you? If you can tell us here, and then afterwards, if you can just send me a WhatsApp with all your links, your social media handles, and I can just pop it in the
yeah.
comment section for people that would be interested in your services and just want to follow you and then see what you're doing.
Sure. I mean, JABU ZWANE mindset. If you look for JABU ZWANE mindset on Google, it'll give you 3-4 pages
Yeah.
with every platform I am. I'm on LinkedIn as JABU ZWANE. I'm on Facebook as JABU ZWANE. I'm on YouTube as well. It's Jabulani Zwane. I do quite a lot of videos on there. And I also have a podcast on anchor.fm. It's called Mindset Development.
Mm.
Mindset Development or Mindset Talk. So you'll find me on there. Those are the platforms I'm on. And I've also got a website, jabuzwane.co.za. Yeah, and so I mean, I'm saying if you just Google JABU ZWANE, you'll find
Find him
mindset. If
everywhere.
you see JABU ZWANE mindset, you will find a wealth of links to the work that I do.
No, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. JABU, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time. You shared valuable information, and I think it's going to help quite a few people. A few things that I did for myself too that I wrote down here that I need to go look at in my own life as well after this. So thank you. God bless you. And then if you can send me a WhatsApp with all of that, I'll pop it in the comment section. But don't log off. Let me just end the broadcast. So guys, thank you for logging in. Share, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Next week we're having face-to-face interviews on a nice set, which we'll be sharing, and that will be more on YouTube. So we'll share short clips to Facebook and to LinkedIn, but it will be mainly on YouTube. So guys, thanks for logging on. This is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. And we had an entrepreneur, we've got an expert on today. So thank you guys. God bless you. See you next week.